Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hey. Welcome to the Crow's Nest with the disembodied voice of not only Justin, but me as well. Just because I was too lazy to try to fix the camera issue from last week. And I'm still mad at OBS. But I'm sure that's a user error issue. This week, we have Jason with us as normal, and we are joined, and we've been efforting our guest for years. I think, let's say years, right, Jason? Years.
I'd say at least 5 years we've been trying to get him on the show.
Exactly. Even when we were concepting the show, even before the show was even an
Well,
idea.
back in the old days when we just used to do it, with the blanket hung up behind the couch and we were
Yeah,
videotaping it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Reaper John on today. Hello, Reaper John.
It's me. What's up?
It's you.
It doesn't feel like a
And
Tuesday. It feels like a Monday.
It
I
does.
know. And it's rainy here, so I am just so unmotivated today.
Yeah, we had the
Just
rain
want to
up here yesterday.
just want to take a nap. Just want to take a super nap. And I'm working on. It's kind of hard to see. I guess the camera's okay. A troll from this last Kickstarter. You know this, John?
Bobby Jackson, right?
Yeah, Bobby Jackson. So just started him. Just got some first layers of paint on him. So I'm going to be painting on him while we are chatting today.
All the chit chat. Paint club.
Yeah, paint club. So today we got Reaper John on. So we're going to talk spinning. We're going to talk Siocast. We're going to talk ReaperCon. We're going to talk all and more ReaperCon and games and events, and then it'll be over and we'll be done.
That's it. You nailed it.
How does that work? Does that work, Jason?
It works great for me.
Okay. So
sorry, I was just doing a little research, very quick and hasty.
One of the things and that I wasn't even aware of until we visited Reaper right at the end of the Kickstarter was we all know John for twirling and for casting, like metal casting, and for being Reaper John and being on the social media guru that he is and all things new culture. But I did not know that John was the main mold maker. Is that the fair term to say? Chief mold maker of the Siocast Bones USA process?
Yeah.
What is your
I guess you
title
could say
over
like
there?
senior mold maker, I guess you could say.
Oh,
I guess
senior.
that's a good way to put it.
Senior executive mold maker.
Yeah.
Right?
They needed somebody reliable over there.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying that nobody else is reliable?
Not at the moment.
Wow. All right. So
Gee whiz. Man,
I know.
that was early for the bus.
The bus. John's driving the bus.
Yeah, I'm driving today.
Anyways, so
like
Bones has
weird
come out.
anonymous
Bones has had many iterations, and it started off as the white, less than defined plastic that came out of China, and over time, the materials have changed, the processes have changed, and things have become more refined. And I think Bones, what has migrated into Bones USA is Bones in name only. It's almost like a totally different process in a way, from my understanding and perception. You showed me a lot.
It's a different material for sure.
It's different material. It reminds me a lot of metal casting and the way that the molds are set up, right? So when I was there, I spent some time with John, and he was showing me. He was making, I think you were making a mold of a bunch of wolves or something like that. Julie's wolves or something. And it was cool. And just to have them coming hot out the presses, and the rigidness, the firmness of the Siocast material, Bones USA material, is far crisper, and let's put it this way: it's easier to pull it out of the package, do minimal cleanup. The cleanup is so much easier than in the past. It doesn't tear, and you can prime it or not. I have a habit of priming, but I have not tried the RattleCAD primer on Bones USA yet. Maybe whether that's doable or not. I just airbrush prime most things, so I don't have to worry about it. But I airbrush prime it, and then I can RattleCAD if I want to over that. But yeah, this is the ones that I was most blown away with, because these models have been around for a while, are Bobby's Ogres, and they recently went through the process. They're all three of them are two pieces. They're basically their weapon arms are separate, but they fit together really well. There's just minor puttying in there. Basically, the only thing I used to putty it all together was the brush on sealer. That's how I filled all the gaps. So they were that small in order to fill them pretty quickly. And they just have some base coat prime airbrushing on, just to kind of when I get started on them. But so what is new in the world of Bones USA Siocast? And can we tell me how's it gotten better, and how have you been involved with it?
So I know you were asking me when you were here about the different materials, because you came over and Ron was like, yeah, Ron told me to come grab some of the new stuff, some of the new material. And to my knowledge, Siocast had their old Cio-Res, which is a lighter gray. It was a little bit more flexible and stuff like that, in its composition. But recently, in the past month and a half, 2 months or so, they sent us some early samples of the new material that they came out with, called Cio-Res Hard. And it's basically a harder version of the old Cio-Res. And I believe the guy that you have, the ogres that you have, are all in Cio-Res Hard.
Oh, yeah. These are hot off the press. So I think you had done them the week before I got there.
Yeah. And so I know some of the stipulations that are a little bit different is that it's harder. And from what I've heard from people in testing is that they're easier to clean up, because the old Cio-Res, they would do feathering. So like if you were trying to clean up the seams and stuff, they would start to kind of bunch up and feather, and it would be kind of hard if you were just trying to take your blade and scrape it. But I've heard that the Cio-Res Hard, the new material, cleans up a lot easier in that regard.
Yeah, the thin sections used to tear a little bit.
Oh yeah.
If you got up close to them, you could see.
Yeah, if there's say there was a mold line here-ish, I mean, it's just thin scraping, and it's that easy. On the older whatever material, you would get that tearing. You would get that kind of like and then you'd really have to. And it responds, and I'm not going to sandpaper, but it responds to 800 grit, 1200 grit, black. Usually the black. This is purple, but the sandpaper does really well on these as well. And again, one of your best friends is the brush on sealer. If you have if you go over crazy a little bit, got some places you can't reach with your cleaning tool. And however, what was kind of cool, and this was a little surprising, but I was just trying everything out and I can't find them. The diamond file, little micro files that everybody has, they work great on these. And I'm telling you, they didn't work great on some of the older bones.
Before. Yeah, and they didn't work great on the original Cio-Res either. The lighter gray for Cio-Res, they didn't work that great either. They still bunched up.
So I'm a big fan. Are they resin? No, they're not resin, but they're a whole hell of a lot cheaper than resin.
Yeah, they say thermoplastic. I think it is. It's closer to resin than original bones is, just because of how brittle it is. I don't know if you've ever snapped any of these, but like
I haven't tried to. You want me to?
I mean, no, but they snap very easily. And so if you drop them the wrong way, like it's particular weak points, like the wrists or the ankles, things that are kind of very thinner than the rest of the body, you can snap them. And like old bones, the classic bones, you could run over those things with a car. You could throw them in the microwave; they'd be fine.
Right. Well, those were vinyl though. Those were Those
Yeah.
were by design to be softer and more durable in that way. But now the Siocast is still a single component material, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And one of the benefits you guys have is you can reuse some of it,
Yes.
which is
So
something we
that
couldn't do with vinyl.
Yeah, before, like, if a piece came bad from China, we just had to put it in a bucket and save it for either paint and takes or
Right.
other events like that. Bones mashup classes, for instance, things like that. But now it'll go along with our zero waste facility kind of mentality here in Denton,
Hmm.
where we reuse our metal, we reuse all of our polystyrene plastic, and then now we can reuse this stuff pretty much almost the exact same way as we do the polystyrene, where we have to grind it up and
Right.
into smaller pellets and then put it in with fresh material. It's the same idea as metal as well.
Trasharama was asking if you could actually color the Siocast different colors.
We do have a bunch of different tests, like colors, because when you mix the material together, there's all kinds of different things that you can do to like change the color and things like that that you can mess around with. But the reason we haven't done anything with that is because it takes a long time to because you have to empty the melting hopper where all the material is, mix
Sure.
all new material, put it in there, and then run it through. It basically like a whole like half a day of setup and cleanup
Sure.
and things like that.
And sometimes when you try to color a material, it actually changes the material. I've
Hmm.
noticed that has happened with some of the plastic stuff.
Hmm. I prefer the gray, just because I know a long time, back in the Bones Classic days, like since it reflects the light and it looks like things are a little bit softer until you prime them, and then once you prime them, you're like, oh wow, I didn't even know that was there, or the face looks much better.
The
This gray
dreaded
material
subsurface
allows you to
scatter.
feel, yeah, yeah, it feels like it has like a thin layer that the light passes through and just
Right. Yeah, it's
passes
translucent on the
everything.
in the very outside.
Hmm. And so the gray is a lot better for seeing details and things like that. So I really love the new gray of the Bones USA. Hmm. Any other pressing questions? Back to Michael's point about how it's comparable to metal. The reason I think it is because it's almost the exact same mold processing as metal would be, just different materials. So metal is done with black rubber molds, but it's the same process of pressing and vulcanizing and getting that material around the model. Bones USA molds use silicone, so it's just a difference in material, but it's the same process, same pressing and same
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
When I went over there, you were putting together the wolf mold, and
Hmm.
it took you, let's say, an average mold, and a mold will handle anywhere. It depends on the mini, of course, maybe 6 or 8 miniatures on your standard size kind of mini. How
Hmm.
many times will that? Can you use that mold in the machine? And then when you're gonna
It
like it can go X number of times, and you got to recreate it.
Yeah, I always, when I do the tours at Reaper, I talk about this with metal casting and the metal molds. It just
Hmm.
depends on how complicated the molds are. For instance, the way that I explain it is if you have a werewolf with his ears and
Hmm.
that mold line is covering the ear, when the caster has to go to pull that ear out of that mold and say it pulls against it or rubs against it, over time it's going to start to pull that rubber or that silicone or whatever material out. And if that happens, you'll have a big old chunk left over where the metal fills where the rubber used to be. Um, and so it just depends on the model. For instance, like those ogres are relatively flat, and that's why their
Hmm.
arms are separate pieces. Um,
Hmm.
so it's a lot easier. Yeah,
They have a plane to them pretty much. I mean, it's
yeah, you can
getting
see that.
there, and then they can. That's nice. They're
Hmm.
all kind of that way. The only I would think, maybe with this guy, the little pointy on his spike, is that something that would be one of those things that might deteriorate the mold at some point, or does
So
that make
luckily
sense?
that
I don't
one
know.
right there, that
Hmm.
club right there, for instance, that was a piece that was
Hmm.
separate on that mold, right? And
Yeah.
if you look at the big spikes on that club, they're opposite, but they're
Hmm.
still flat with each other. So when I made
Oh.
the mold for that, I put
Hmm.
both spikes flat against the plane where
Hmm.
the two halves would meet. So that way they weren't buried inside the rubber at all, or the silicone at all. So you just
So
got to think about little
you,
things like that.
you got the mold all set up and you start running. How long? Um, let's compare it to metal. Once you got everything set up and you pour the metal in there and you spin it, that just takes a few minutes for it to get into the mold, spin around, and come out and dump it down. It's hot as shit and you can't touch it for a little bit. How does that compare with the Siocast?
So it's relatively comparable. We generally the same process. You let it you shoot it with the hot plastic. You let it sit to let it
Mm-hmm.
cool down. You open it, and you're saying like, how long will that mold last? It
Mm-hmm.
These molds don't last as long as black rubber because black rubber is a lot more resilient. It's a lot more tougher
Mm-hmm.
than the actual silicone molds. But the silicone allows us to be a little bit more dynamic and less more rigid. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the really good thing. These molds take a little bit longer to build and make because you want to
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit meticulous. In black rubber molds, you really can't guide the mold lines that well. You can do it a little bit, but it's really just what we call a squish mold, where you just squish it together. Most like 90% of the time. But in
Mm-hmm.
Ceocast molds, they have a lot more setup and build up because you can actually control where the mold lines are going to go by doing build ups and cutouts and all kinds of things like that. So it feels
You mean the
honestly, Jason.
sculptors aren't sculpting in the mold lines? I thought the sculptors did that.
Nope, we
No,
don't.
Oh,
mm-mm.
okay, okay. Oh, see what I know? I don't know anything.
But it like Jason, you correct me if I'm wrong. Back in I would say like earlier on in metal molds, you would have everybody was designing things to be on like a flat plane. Like if you had an
Yes,
archer, the archer would be kind of on a flat plane. He couldn't tilt his
yes,
bow or he couldn't, canter anything.
true.
Um, and that's because of the limitations of the black rubber molds. But
Right.
with
Although I
these
will
silicone
say
molds,
I will say that um, Reaper was pretty renowned for being able to put even the black rubber molds through its paces. So we could get away with a little bit more than we could with some of the other manufacturers. Um, Mostly because there's a culture of experimentation, I think, when it comes to materials and methods at Reaper that doesn't always exist in other places. So I think that
yes.
bespeaks well of every process you guys do, and this is no exception. The Siocast, I know how hard you've been working with the originators of the machine and the originators of the materials, and then putting your own spin on it. No
Mhm.
pun intended.
Yeah, speaking, that's a great transition, Jason.
Mhm.
So, one last question before we get to spinning. Um, is there, and Cranky Dog asked this, and that's kind of what I was, once you get the mold in, jam it in the Siocast machine. How long
Mhm.
does it take? How long does that machine take to finish that one mold and get those 8 miniatures out?
It's I think it's way faster than metal, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But for instance, that big ogre that you showed, those take a little bit longer
Hmm.
because they're thicker. Um, y-
Ah.
the way that we describe it is that metal flows like water or like milk,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and this material kind of flows like honey or like wet, like cold honey is what I would say.
Mm.
So
How
it's
thick
just
are your
different.
molds winding up, John?
So without giving specifics in really, so the proprietary mold material that it comes in like three different
Uh-oh.
sizes, different millimeters. So 20, 24, 28 is roughly the kind of range of what you're looking for. You
Right,
can
right.
get we are able to get more just because of what we figured out as Reaper miniatures. Like you said, we're always trying to innovating and coming up with new ways of doing things. So we have found ways to do more. Um, there's just a lot of limitations at the moment that we're trying to R&D is the what I would
Mm.
say R&D. So I would expect a lot of stuff to be happening in the advancement of what we can do with molds. I've been trying a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
different things. So
It's good to point out that this Silecast stuff is still pretty much in its infancy.
mhm.
I mean, we're seeing it more and more, but it's nowhere near as mature a process as metal casting is.
Well,
So
Yeah.
there's a
the
lot of innovation to be done.
and metal isn't going away because you're using metal masters
Mhm.
to create the molds, and you need to have metal masters in order to create the mold.
Mhm.
Okay,
For the
so
most
you
part.
do need to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
that's nice to see that the traditional medium isn't completely gone. But yeah, that's neat to see. And I was kind of I didn't even think about that. I'm like, oh, wonder what they're using to make the mold. So the fact
Right.
that it
So,
goes newest technology still using one of the oldest forms of
right.
creating the miniatures.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
that's cool.
pipeline still starts with the green or the STL file to the print, and
Right,
then you
right.
make a metal mold, and then you make a metal off of that for the master.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that part is still pretty much the same as it's been.
yeah.
Yeah. And huge shout out to Kevin Williams and Daryl. They
Mm.
are our two in-house sculptors and 3D people, and they, like, Kevin will look at the 3D sculpt because he knows how to make Sealcast molds. He learned first, and so now he can go and say, "Oh, John probably needs this piece a little bit thicker, so like the edge of the cloak or something is just not. It might be too sharp, or it's too tight, or something wasn't backfilled correctly." Or something like that. He can make small little changes to kind of help in the mold making process. Nothing like crazy that's going to alter the miniature. It's just little changes that kind of help.
So
Yeah,
you're the
Kevin's always
senior
done
mold
that.
maker. You're the senior mold maker. He's the grand master mold maker.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think,
Cool.
yeah, Kevin taught me everything I know. So he taught me
That's
taught me how
cool.
to make molds. He taught me how to make masters. He taught me how to do all that stuff. So, and
Kevin is
um,
Kevin is very shy, but he's one of the best people there at Reaper,
mhm.
in my opinion.
I,
Yeah, we
I
love
love
Kevin,
Kevin.
and we can't get him on the show. He'd rather not be on the show, as a matter of fact. But
Yeah.
if you ever catch
Yeah.
him at Reaper, he's a great guy
Hmm.
to talk to.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he's been we've been experimenting together. So he'll come to me and ask me, "What do you think we should do with this piece?" Or "How would you build this?" And we'll try something, and I'm like, "Hey, let's try this," and then we'll try it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it does, and it feels good when it works. So that's good. He we recently figured out some stuff. Actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but there's
Sure.
different
No
there's
one's
different.
watching anyway. You might as well.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's different materials of silicone that we are able to use, and he figured out. So there's a certain color that's a lot more flexible compared to the
Hmm.
silicone that is being used to make the molds. It's a different color.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
there's different what they call barometers. So different hardness and different like
Durometers.
flexibility. Oh, there you go,
Yes.
durometers. And for instance, in between that ogre's legs, we would use a certain color that is a little bit more flexible. So when they go to open the molds, it's not as hard and getting stuck in between that ogre's legs. So
Hmm.
we need something that's a little bit more flexible. But
Yeah, you don't
Kevin
want it
figured out
too
if we,
hard in between the legs.
that's right.
Yeah.
You can
Kevin
clip
figured
So
out
that.
that we can mix.
once you
Mhm.
set the mold, those different consistencies of the silicon blend together.
Yes. So like, so the normal silicones is basically the color of Proctor's wet palette. Is that it's kind of like a yellow silicone, and another color that you would put in there, let's say blue, it'll basically stand out as blue, but it fuses to the yellow. Kind of like you can see where it fuses. There's like a line, but it's still yellow and blue. And then so Kevin figured out a way to mix certain durometers of silicone to kind of change the properties to what we need, because sometimes we don't need it to be super flexible. Sometimes we just need
Right.
it to be slightly flexible. So that's
The
been a
neat
very
thing
nice help.
too, what I thought was really cool, and I was pushing Ed once I saw all this, was there's so many back catalog miniatures
Hmm.
that were metal that have, over time, they're so far back in the catalog, and things tend maybe get forgotten, and they can have
Hmm.
new life in Bones USA. So John, I'm sending you a list of the miniatures that I want you to make in Bones USA. So
Okay.
you can get on that and prioritize
Uh-huh.
that, and we'll start
Yeah.
kicking those out. Yeah.
Did
So
you actually know that there's actually a list already?
No, I did not. I'd like to
Oh,
See,
see
I
it so I
knew.
can approve it.
I
Yeah.
knew.
okay.
I
I
also
think I
Jason?
know
might need
that
to
you guys
approve that.
have a
Yeah.
quota you're trying to hit every month as far as
Yeah.
new molds and new
Yeah.
miniatures. Well,
So
new
I
Silecast.
guess, yeah, the long-term goal is to eventually take all of the like very popular stuff that's in metal and all the Bones Classic and eventually, you know, make everything in Bones USA, but still keep the metal. The metal will still be there. But I think
Mhm.
I foresee Bones Classic kind of being phased out for this superior material in every sense, I
There you
think.
go.
Um,
Yes.
and there's a lot of benefits to this because now we can control the stock and the flow
Hmm.
of the material. Because a lot of the times, something that's very popular, like the Wolf Pack, for instance, those would run out, and then we would have to, maybe the shipment from China would be delayed, or something would happen, and it would get here too late, and then as soon as it got here, it would run out of stock again, and
Hmm.
it's just hell
Right, and
trying to manage all that.
you don't want to just get a crate of wolves coming in. I mean, that's
Hmm.
not economical to just order
Very
one
true.
stock number like that.
Hmm.
Well,
And
cool.
this this also allows us, Bones Classic is very known for having floppy swords and floppy spears and things like that. This stuff's a lot more rigid, and the reason those things are floppy is because they cast them and then they take them out and they just throw them in a bin, right? And so they cool
Hmm.
and they kind of warp it as they cool, or they're sitting in a hot container, so the heat's kind of warping them. But this stuff, we take it out and we put it out, and it's curing, or it because it takes a little bit time for it to become fully, I guess, hard, essentially.
Right,
That's what she
cured
said.
or whatever. Sure.
And 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 so we can control, like, oh, the swords are not going to be bent. I haven't seen really a bent sword hardly at all, or bent spear or anything.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Warping issues.
isn't part of that though that the Silecast process is actually inverted from the vinyl process. In the vinyl process, you're squirting something that's going to be soft into a hard mold, a steel mold.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
Silecast, your end product is going to be hard and it's coming out of a soft mold.
Hmm.
And I
I
think
would
that
say,
has a
yeah,
lot
it
to
has
do
something to do
with
with that.
the bendiness of it.
Hmm. I agree. I totally agree with you.
I would
And
say if your Bones won and you got the vampire set. There was that wizard John with the staff that had the cloak over his head.
yeah,
That remember Bones one. You had a face underneath the cloak. You might as well just paint a two dots in a circle underneath.
hmm,
I saw that in New Bones USA. Holy crap, that's what the face looked
yeah.
like, and it was great. So yeah, that
Yeah, a lot of the
it's
details
going,
coming back
yeah, which is cool.
that we thought was
Super
lost.
cool.
The sculptors thought it was just gone forever.
All right, all
Yeah, it's
right.
very nice.
Enough of that. Let's talk spinning.
Okay.
So I remember maybe my first introduction to John was one of my first trips there, for one of the artist cons or whatever. And I see
Hmm.
this guy in the middle of the warehouse floor throwing a baton up in the air and doing his little spins and stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? I mean, this is probably 8, 10 years ago. Easy, right? How long you been
Hmm.
there, John? Forever.
I've been at Reaper for 12 years. Yeah.
12 years. So it's somewhere around that time. But I remember you on the floor and then watching all those little spins and tricks and stuff like that. What's your background with all of that? Because I don't know if I ever told you this. My mom was a baton twirler in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just baton though, just baton.
For marching band. This was a long time ago. I'm not young,
Hmm.
so she's not. She's much older than me, obviously. But yeah, that's what she did. That was her. She was led the marching band and did the baton thing. And I
Do you know
remember
if
as a
she ever
kid
did
watching her
any
do
drum
that.
corps?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She did all
Oh,
that stuff too. Yeah.
nice.
So it was a long. I mean, this was probably mid '60s
Hmm.
ish time frame, I would say. So I don't know anything about anything, but
Hmm.
that's what I was just wanted to share. So
Okay.
you have some pictures and stuff to show us of your pre Reaper
Uh,
celebrity twirling spinning status.
uh, I don't have a lot of pictures from Color Guard actually, because it's
Okay.
kind of hard to show like what Color Guard is in pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was a theater
Oh,
kid.
just stand up and do it, John. Come on. You know
Yeah.
everybody's waiting.
uh, I was a theater kid for a long time, and then one year my friend got me into Color Guard, and I basically did that from sophomore year all the way till 2016, so a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did it for 15 years. I taught high schools. I taught middle schools. I used to teach a lot. And I've been to the World Championships 9 times. So I went really hard in Winterguard, Color Guard, because it was a big
Mm-hmm.
passion of mine. Because that's how I was creative, because it helped. You tell stories, and
Mm-hmm.
that was my creative outlet. And I really enjoyed it. I think I contribute everything that I have in life to Color Guard just because of what it taught me and all the friends that it got me. And what a couple of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life was drum corps.
Mm-hmm.
So drum corps is the summertime. So when you get out of school and the summer starts, there's auditions for drum corps, and I made the Crossmen and I made the Blue Devils, 2 different summers. And what you do is you go to you go somewhere. Everybody in the corps, there's 150 people. That includes the horns, the color guard, the pit in the front that play the marimbas and the toms, and all the drum line, everybody. And you rehearse basically all day for about a month. Every day you wake up at 7, you do your morning exercises, you have morning rehearsal for 4 hours, and then you have afternoon rehearsal for 4 hours, and then everybody comes together at the end of the day for the last like 5 or 6 hours, and you rehearse together, and you're
Mm-hmm.
practicing your show that you're going to perform. And that's for about a month. That's every day. And then you go on tour. Everybody piles in all their buses, their charter buses, and you basically just live on a charter bus for 2 months, and
And
you
is this with
perform.
the
You go around the country.
university? Is this with
No,
the
these are all
school or?
independent groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to pay
Cool.
to do it. It's very expensive. I paid like $3,000 every summer to do it,
Wow.
and I lost my first year when I went. I lost 60 pounds. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so because you're just doing nothing but physical activity all day,
Yeah.
and
I challenge everybody to
yeah,
spin around for 20 minutes and see what happens.
and so I didn't drum corps. I did 2 summers because it's just
Mm-hmm.
very hard on your body, and you age out. You can only do it until you're
Mm-hmm.
21. So you age out,
Oh.
because they don't let you go past that. Um, and then I did Winterguard, which is the indoor version. It's in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So you do the indoor version. So it's just the color guard.
Hence the name
And I
Winter
have
Guard. It's in the winter.
yeah,
Just so we know.
and I
Yeah,
have a
we
little
put it
I
on
have
the
a little
calendars.
clip of a video. I have a little
Ah,
clip from me in 2016, Justin, if you
you
want to
ready?
blow this up a
You
little
ready,
bit.
Justin?
And so this is the World Championships. There's about 40,000 people in the stands right here.
Where are you?
And
Where are you?
I'm right here in this back little pocket. See my
All right.
mouse
Yeah.
back here.
Yeah.
And so we'll
Oh,
zoom in on me. I'll
I
find a
see
little clip of
you.
me.
You don't have a sleeve. Oh, there you go.
So yep, here's me. I'm right here in the front.
Yeah.
So
Why don't
I'm
you?
about to
You
pass.
don't have a leg. What happened? They
No,
didn't? They had to save on the uniform or what?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. He said
and
they
I'm
were
right.
really expensive. So he was working his way
Oh.
up to the leg and the arm,
Okay.
I think.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
so I'm right here in the front, right here.
Yeah.
And this was my last time at the World Championships. We got 5th place, um,
Mm-hmm.
out of like 40. And this
What was
this
the
is just
name of
kind of
your
what Winter Guard
team?
is. CGT Dallas. It's
And
just
those
a
are
color guard
rifles you're
theater.
throwing up in the air. Is that right?
Yes. And we'll get to like a
They're
good
they're not
thing.
real. They're
There
not.
you go.
They're.
Yeah, they're made of wood.
You were throwing a rifle up once too. I think at Reaper. Weren't you doing
Yeah,
that?
No, but they
Were
could
you
I
be
working at
was.
real. I mean,
Reaper
you
then?
could throw a real rifle if you wanted to.
You could,
So were you
but
working at Reaper when you were doing this?
yes, I was. So
Okay.
I'll explain that. But like, I'll stop it right. So you toss,
Mm-hmm.
slide, and then bam.
Oh,
So
where are you?
that's just kind of a.
I don't see you.
Go ahead.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm back here in the
Oh,
back.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's just kind of a good
That's
taste.
cool.
a good taste of what it was. So you can
Neat.
go back now, Justin.
Are you still
And then
friends with a lot of the folks that you knew back then?
yeah. So we go to we go to each other's weddings, and I go to
Mm-hmm.
the Dallas Regional every year. So it's just kind of once a year I kind of go and see
Are you like a
everybody.
celebrity there?
I used to
There's
be.
there's John.
It's
Wow,
because
I remember
I haven't done
John.
it since 2016, so that's
Okay.
6 years ago. So now everybody
Wow.
is, it's the new generation, the next generation's there. So
Yeah. Man,
um
John aged out, Jason.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And so you asked me if I was working at Reaper, and what
Mm-hmm.
I would do is, here in Texas, the bands that we teach, they rehearse in the morning because it gets too hot. They rehearse before school. So I
Mm-hmm.
would go and do rehearsal for a couple of hours before school starts, and then I
Mm-hmm.
would go to work to Reaper because that's about the time I needed to clock in. And
Mm-hmm.
the high schools here also, they rehearse in the afternoon only 2 times a week, normally Tuesdays and Thursday nights. So I would leave
Mm-hmm.
Reaper and go teach Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And then I would rehearse on the weekends. So I never had weekends until about 2016. So I was
Do you
just
teach anymore?
constant. No, I retired in 2016, and I said, you know what, I want my weekends back, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's when I went full Reaper, I guess you could
When
say.
you retired, did they have a party and they give you a plaque or a watch or anything like that?
Nah, nah,
No. Oh, okay.
nah. I
Oh.
could probably be in the Hall of Fame at some point for NTCA, but
Yeah. Do they do that?
hmm
Let's
they do.
everybody watching. We need to get the link,
So
and
we
we'll
have to
start
figure out
sending.
how we get you to be nominated.
I
How
could
do
do
we
that.
lobby you to get you in?
A
I could
petition
mobilize
drive
the
or
Reaper
something.
Army.
Yeah, I
I
think
could
that would be
definitely
a
do that.
great idea. Yeah, I mean, if you
hmm
can't use your power for yourself, then why have it,
That's true.
right?
So
Yeah.
that's what I did forever. And then
Well, that's
the
really
pictures I
neat.
do want to show you is
Yeah.
Justin has them, if you're ready. Any of the acro
Sure.
pictures, Justin. So middle
Oh,
of
he's on your foot.
doing color, yeah, doing color garden
That's
stuff. I started doing acro yoga.
that's Reaper John right there. That's Reaper John. A much lighter Reaper John.
Smaller.
Much
Yes.
fitter
Yeah.
Reaper John.
Man, that
Oh,
makes my
And
knee ache right there.
yeah.
and
I
I did a
know,
lot of
right?
acro yoga, which is partner yoga, and I have a bunch more pictures. So Justin, you can just go to the next
Uh-huh.
one as well. Um,
Oh, wow,
so
look at you.
yeah, this is called hand to hand. Just
Mm-hmm.
basically doing a handstand. And he's holding me up.
Yeah.
Uh, you can keep going, Justin. Oh yeah, there's this was at rehearsals. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm balancing he's on his knees on my feet.
Mm.
Um, mhm. It's basically a lot of balancing and partner stuff. And this is called
Mm-hmm.
foot to foot. This is my
Mm-hmm.
first time ever doing it. Was this picture?
Wow.
This was on a camping trip I did with a bunch of acro people. We were taking photos out in the lake.
That's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
It's a good photo. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites. So this is back whenever I used to be super flexible, and
Mm.
this is called, what is it called, bow.
Mm.
And so yeah, and I think that's all the acro pictures I got.
So she
So
has her
yeah,
feet up in the air and you just run and jump and she catches you.
no, it's a lot more less graceful than that. You could do it that way if
Okay.
you were good,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
just basic.
Well,
There's a lot of things to get into it.
you're a Hall of Fame world champion. You could do that, I'm sure.
I could do that for sure.
Yeah, totally.
And
Totally.
so I used to do a lot of things like that, acro yoga. There's a lot of acro up there where you are, Jason. There's a lot of people that do that up there.
Yes,
There are a
I've
bunch
heard
of
of it. I haven't seen it
There's a
much.
bunch of hippies up where Jason is.
Hey, it's
And
beautiful up here, Proctor.
it is.
So, okay, cool. Now let's transition again back to Reaper kind of
hmm
stuff.
You got it.
You just went to, and I'm
Board
segueing
Game Geek.
into, yeah.
hmm
So there was a bunch of, I saw online, there was a bunch of paint and takes that you were running. and other events that
Mhm.
were going on. Justin, do you have that picture of the paint and take table?
Yeah, it's called Bones One. That's what it's, or One Bones, I think, in the is the picture. But yeah, I went to Board Game Geek because Trashorama, one of our moderators in chat, he
Mm-hmm.
volunteers and does a bunch of stuff for Board Game Geek on their forums and
Mm-hmm.
discords and things like that. And he's been trying to get us to go to Board Game Geek to do a paint and take forever. And then COVID stuff happened and all this stuff happened, and we finally were able to go.
Where was it?
It was really nice. It was at the DFW airport. It's
Mm-hmm.
in the Hyatt Regency in Terminal C.
Oh
So it's
wow.
nice to have a convention there because everybody could fly in from around the
Mm-hmm.
country and around the world, stay at the airport, and then do the convention for a couple days and then fly home. So I
Oh
thought that was
wow.
very nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you ran the paint and take.
Hmm.
Was DDRPG there, or is it still too soon for that?
That's this coming up weekend, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Or
Yep.
yeah, this coming up weekend.
It officially starts Thursday, but I think people are gathering Wednesday night.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
That's cool.
made those coins out of Bones USA. Those coins that are going to be at that convention are going to be Bones USA coins.
Oh wow.
So, hmm I'm excited.
That's cool.
I don't think I
That's
saw
sweet.
the Bones USA ones. I saw the ones Joseph had printed off on his FDM.
Mm.
Is that what it was? Were those coins? Or were these different?
I got metal ones I got
Okay.
metal masters, and then I used those to
Mm-hmm.
make the Bones USA coins.
Cool.
And then I handed them off to Ron, and Ron's going to be painting them. So he's going to be
Oh
like
wow.
painting them gold and
Well,
silver and
Wait a
bronze, I
minute. Wait a
think.
minute. Can we back up a minute? You said Ron's going to
Yeah.
be painting something?
yeah,
Hmm.
he's got a big old house brush and he's going to be painting on him. It's not like he's going to be
Yeah.
using real techniques or anything.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Mhm.
somehow I think maybe Connor's going to be painting something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very true. Hey, if he does, I'll take a picture and I'll show it if he's actually painting
Yeah,
them.
yeah. We need
Yeah.
pictures. That would be
Yeah.
great.
I'll do it. I'll sneak them.
Cool. I want to make sure we get to everything because we got a lot today. We got a lot of content.
Yeah. I'm
I
a
want
content machine.
You are a content machine. I want to show the cards.
Oh, okay.
Let's go cards. Let's go
Yeah.
cards. And there's only certain cards that we need to show. Period.
Yeah. You can do any of them,
Yep.
Justin.
There you go. Yeah. Look at that. What's this
So this
for?
is
Because this is really cool.
yeah. So we changed the design of them. People in chat might have seen the old designs, but this is kind of the updated, new versions of them. Let me pull up
This is
chat
an
just so I can see.
exclusive right now. Exclusive.
And and you can see that we have the painter on the bottom left and the sculptor on the bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
The model in the middle, the name at the top. And so this is a card game that I've been planning for ReaperCon for the past couple of months. And the idea was, since we're going to Barrowgate for this ReaperCon, and the Barrowgate's all about this, it's all about adventuring, and I wanted to do something with building a party and going down into a dungeon. That's kind of how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to get stickers, and you're going to be able to put these
Look at
stickers
that
on the
one. Look at
attack and
how awesome
defense.
that is. That's fantastic. Uh-huh.
And you're going to have to get basically I call them heroes, and you're basically going to have to
Mm-hmm.
get them, or adventurers. And you put, like, let's say you have like a fire sticker or
Mm-hmm.
a water sticker, and you're going to have to put those stickers on the sword and shield to give them attack and
Mm-hmm.
defense. And you're going to have to go to the dungeons that are going to be spread out all across ReaperCon with your adventuring parties and delve into the dungeons and try to beat them. And if you beat them, you get rewards like Reaper Bucks and more cards.
Mm-hmm.
You can see on the bottom right of this card, it says 55 of 55. So there's going to be 55 cards to collect.
Mm-hmm.
And as these heroes complete dungeons, you see at the bottom where it says quests. I have a
Mm-hmm.
Reaper wax seal that's going to go over that every time this hero adventurer completes a dungeon. So once all three of those are done, this hero retires and you can't use them anymore. So you got to use your other heroes that you collect to keep
Ah.
going and get into harder dungeons and fight epic raid monsters and stuff that are going to appear during
Wow.
ReaperCon.
So this one obviously is probably the strongest of them. Are there ones that are
Yeah.
other ones that are weaker than other ones?
Mhm.
Or are they all the same?
No, they're all the same. I
Okay.
generally did it to where there wasn't rarity. So they're all
Ah,
equal. And the rarity
okay.
comes, or the hardness comes with the stickers and how many stickers you
Hmm.
need to use.
Ah, cool.
Hmm.
And so this is a card game, even though it's a miniature
Hmm.
company, but it's highlighting miniatures. I get it.
Yeah. It's a I call it a social collecting game. It's really not like it's not going to be something that you can play against other people. It's just more like a
Hmm.
con social game because I'm going to put the dungeons around the event to where you have to go and interact, and it's a good icebreaker too because Proctor, for instance, if somebody wanted to get this signed by you, if you're available when they come up to you on Artist Alley, it's a good icebreaker. It's a good way to start conversation because a lot of the times people are scared to approach you, or it's like,
I
oh, there's
They
Proctor,
should
but I'm
be.
too scared to go talk to
Yeah,
him.
they should be. I would
And
be
so.
so honored and flattered if someone asked me to sign. I always am. I just think it just blows
Mhm.
me away. But yeah, I want my own cards.
Yeah, you can take this off, Justin, for now. Um, but I'm gonna have a few hundred decks set aside to sell afterwards, because
Hmm.
I know there's gonna be a lot of collectors out there that probably don't want to have stickers all over their cards or anything like that. So
Hmm.
they probably just want to get the whole
Ooh.
set to collect for the future. And I
Hmm.
think it would be cool if this is successful, you have different themes and different stuff for next year. And so depending on where we are for ReaperCon, whatever the theme is,
Hmm.
and I think
That's
that'd be
cool.
fun.
I really like that idea. Let's see what I was seeing. Yeah, I don't know what reverse centaur is. I
Oh,
might go in there.
it's where instead of horse feet, they have human feet, like human feet and hands.
Ah, like the Minotaur.
Yeah, yeah, with
Yes,
human feet
got it.
or
Yeah,
man feet.
yeah, beast feet.
But yeah,
So
I'm very
what?
excited for it. I'm hoping it turns out great.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So again, ReaperCon is Labor Day weekend.
Hmm.
The weekend actually before Labor Day week, Labor Day Monday. It's
Hmm.
4 days, or if you count the meet and greet on Wednesday, it's 4 days and a night before.
Hmm.
Fun, lots of classes going on. I know I submitted my classes. I saw some emails from Ron that he was getting all the instructors to submit their classes.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's super exciting. We have the painting competition going on as well. Some more ReaperCon pubbing. Rhonda and I, and maybe we'll have somebody else who's a judge. We'll do a little show. Maybe we can do some stuff with your show, John Reaperland, kind
Hmm.
of pub um,
I agree.
the painting competition as well, and what you look for, and what the categories are, and
Hmm.
should be in a fun, exciting year. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be crazy because last year was a little. The year before was, of course, canceled. Last year
Hmm.
was a little more subdued as we're coming out of things, and
Hmm.
this year will be balls to the wall, and we'll see what happens. Kind of, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think a good portion of that show is maybe looking back at past years and looking at past years ReaperCon MSP entries and stuff, because they're all open on
Mm.
the ReaperCon website. You can go back and look at all the old entries and stuff.
That is, I do that. And I say, since you brought that up, if you're
Hmm.
ever considering, hey, what is what does well at competitions, what's been inspiring, or you just need to get inspired for an entry, man, God, every single thing that's ever been entered every year is posted up on the site. And then
Hmm.
there's the categories for the winners and everything. So look at that, get inspired. I do. I was like, what was that? And I have maybe a little more familiar just due to the part with judging and what have you. But I'll go back and look and say, oh yeah, I remember when Angela Emery did this, or
Hmm.
Marika did this, or Rhonda did this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
and then all the artists will be there, and Artist Alley, and so if you
Hmm.
most of the people watching this, I'm sure, have been to ReaperCon, but if there's any out there that haven't and are on the fence, best con you could ever go to.
I
I
agree.
may be a little biased, but I don't think I am. I mean, I am, but I think I could say that pretty confidently. So,
Well, it's definitely
Jason.
the best one that there's an MSP open at for sure.
Oh yeah, it is. It is by far, by far.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, it's I find it to be a much more specific convention. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely miniatures and definitely painting and definitely gaming and Reaper centric for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I really like it as a convention. It's one of it's. I don't go to as many as I used to, and it's still one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I treat it like a social thing because I normally, obviously, because I'm working, I don't really get to do a lot of the events. But in the past, when I was just a caster and we were always working the conventions, and I never got to go to the convention. I would have to get off work and then go up to the convention hall. Um, and after the years and years and years of seeing the same people coming back and talking to the same people, it feels kind of like a family reunion. I'm sure that's the same for every con, but it
Mm-hmm.
just feels nice with seeing the same people every year, and it's nice.
No, it's good. It'll be an interesting year this year. It's going to be the year
So we had
before
a
COVID. It was super
question in the
crazy.
chat, Michael,
Go ahead.
about any changes to the MSP this year. Are you prepared to issue that list yet, or do you want to wait for another show for that?
Any changes? Who asked that question? What
Well, who do you think?
changed for MSP Open this year? What changed?
Moonlight minis.
I don't know if there's
Moonlight.
been. I don't know if there's any significant changes. I know that we have. It's still MSP Open, and it's a medal system. So you enter your piece, and you're judged individually. You're judged on an overall criteria, but you're not compared directly to somebody else. If your piece is a gold, it gets a gold, silver, bronze, or whatever. And there's no limit to. There's not like we only have 10 golds. It's all we're going to give out. Everybody else, if you don't get that, you're not good in the top 10. You're not getting shit. If there's 100 golds, 200 golds, and that's what we give out. So it's all, and then we have, that's the main competition part. But then we have categories. The Reaper categories are Sophie Trophy eligible. They have to be a Reaper model. There's painters, there's diorama, and then there's open, just like in the normal categories. And there's a Sophie Trophy. The prerequisite, it needs to be a Reaper figure, or be started out as a Reaper figure if it's an open and been converted heavily. But there you go for that. And then we have Bombshell's going to be there. They're going to have a category. I think Scale 75 is there every year. Most likely is having a category. And there's a few others that are being ironed out right now. But yeah, and I don't think I'm missing anything.
So no
Rhonda's
major
on.
changes that you know of yet.
Nope. No,
We
nothing.
could have
Not to
just
the
said
MSP,
that,
yeah.
and had John on able to talk more.
Well, yeah, but I have to have my time since.
No, it's great. No, you did a
Well, I
fantastic job.
mean, John did a lot of talking, more than I expected him to.
Well, he's
Right?
not done yet. We still have a few minutes.
Oh, okay. What did we miss,
Yeah.
John? I mean, what are you looking forward besides the card
hmm
game, and seeing everybody again? Is there any other ReaperCon new thing that you know about that you want to tip off on the show?
Oh man, that's kind of hard because the card game is my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I did a little secret treasure hunt that a few
Mm-hmm.
people finished, and they were able to find the key at the end. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to do something like that again this year, but a little bit more in depth and a little bit more involved. So I
Mm-hmm.
might have something like that. If there is, I will let you know. But I think that's kind of it. I'm excited
How
to see
does one
everybody.
go about finding out a secret treasure hunt?
So I really like these secret things. They're called ARGs, augmented reality games, and that's how it started. I love escape rooms, and one of my goals for ReaperCon is one year to do an escape room at the factory where people have to come and do an escape room, and that's one of my goals. Probably not this year, obviously, but it's one of my future plans. I'm just really hoping the
Wow.
card game goes well because I've been putting a lot of my brain power into that. So that
Is
Mm.
there
I
a
know you said other than the card games, but
costume contest this year?
yes, there is. It's being headed up by Sinasius. She just got married. I can't remember, but yes, there will be. There should be an announcement coming soon, actually. I think within the next
Okay.
couple of weeks. She's still
Yeah, I
getting
would
all the
think
final
people would
rules and
want to
stuff
start planning that pretty
finalized.
soon here.
Yeah.
Yep.
What costume you gonna wear, Jason?
I'm going as myself again. So,
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Hawaiian shirt,
I'm
hat,
going as
that kind of
Jason as
thing.
well.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works out just fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There were some old posts. I remember some old that they confused you and Jason, one of the Kickstarter wrap up party 2 Kickstarters ago. You were
Well,
both
one
on
of
at
the
the same
times we
time.
did that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I remember that. That was a good time.
Yeah. Good times.
I just want to remind everybody as well in chat, if you're doing the Reaper Challenge League, this month, May ends tonight. So get all your May submissions in if you haven't already. And then we'll start June, the end of the second quarter. So if you're painting your Reaper Challenge League stuff right now, you got to get them in soon or you don't get points for them.
Okay. Now, this maybe goes without saying, but where does one find the Reaper Challenge League?
There you go. The Reaper Discord, which is growing rapidly. I know not everybody loves Discord and not everybody likes it, but it's a good way for us to communicate quickly with everybody, and I like it just for the social aspect of it. I like the forums a lot more for news and like important information and things like that. But the very quick stuff, but the Discord is where it's located at the moment. Exclamation point Discord in chat.
Oh, cool. And that's the Reaper Challenge League.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the challenge? What's going to be the challenge next month, or do we know?
Let me see the current pop-ups. Let me look at them. So, do you know how this challenge league works, Proctor?
I don't. Could you please tell me?
Okay, yes. So, I wanted to create something that would reward people for painting in general, just painting. And so, instead of making it a big contest and a big thing, I just wanted to give people little challenges that they could do on their own. So right now, there's for the second quarter of this year, the pop-ups are April showers, and it's the way you do it is you
Bring
make something look
Mayflowers.
wet. You make something look wet, any kind of water effect you wish. So you have to try out a water effect, or glazing something to make it look wet. And then another pop-up is called Townsfolk, a group of miniatures that would be seen around town. Those are the two pop-up challenges. But those are just the quarter. So we have monthly challenges and we have quarterly challenges, and we do limited, like the challenges would be like limited palette. You only get to choose 3 colors to paint a miniature with, or a large model. You get points for that. A player character, a monster, a freebie. So something that's not Reaper, you get to use one of those a month to kind of encourage just to paint anything. There's all kinds of challenges, and you get different points. So you'll get 3 points here, 4 points there, 5 points there, and then every quarter we have a big raffle. So you get all your points, and then you can use your points on little raffle tickets to get things like Bones 5 stuff when it came out, or little things that we use to take photos, little booster things. Your choice of a limited fast palette, just little things here and there that you can spend your points on. And I thought that was just a good way to reward people for painting, because you're going to be painting anyway. You might as well just submit it to get points. And it's been very fun. I didn't know how it was going to go at first, but it's actually encouraged a lot of people to try things, especially when I do those challenges. Like next quarter's going to probably be some OSL challenge. A lot of people wouldn't have tried that, or stripes and dots. So some people might not have painted dots or stripes. So now they get to try, get an animal and put dots on it, or paint someone's pants to have stripes on them. The pop-ups are generally meant to be kind of harder painting techniques to try to, you're not going to be penalized if you try something and it doesn't come out as 100% perfect OSL. The point is that you tried it, and things like that.
Well, when are you? What are you working on your entry for the MSP Open this year?
Not at the moment, but I have some ideas for the future that I would like to do, that I would like to enter.
Yeah, I'd like to see you enter something this year.
Especially because I could sculpt it like all the accoutrements, the ideas that I have, I can sculpt some things that go with it, and I have a 3D printer, so I can 3D print it.
Yeah.
I could do all kinds of stuff. So
And you could theoretically compete for a Sophie trophy in the open category
that's right.
and take it
Maybe one
away
day.
from. Yeah. Oh. I'd like to see you do it. I think you'd do a great job. I think you'd do a great job. Well,
in your spare time, you know.
Yeah, and because he's
Yeah.
well, he's not spinning. He's retired.
Those hours
spinning,
and hours
but
a
he's
day
still,
that you have left over.
yeah. And then he's CIO casting, mold making. He's the executive VP of CIO casting, and doing Reaper stuff, doing all the various shows that you're on. It's the lower rank shows on Reaper Channel.
Yeah. You know,
Reaper
how it
Live
goes.
and Reaper Land. Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's not crow's nest quality or even bird with the brush quality, but it's they're there. But yeah, he's super busy, and
There's
those
a
cards
little
are really cool.
confusion in the. Sorry, there's a little confusion in the chat of the Challenge League versus the quarterly contest.
Oh yeah.
So the quarterly contest is not over at the end of May.
No.
This is just the Challenge League entries are due for May by tonight.
Yes, for May. Yeah, for this month.
Yep.
There's the contest. Quindy just put the link in chat. That's what the quarterly contest is. What you're looking for. That's the info right there. And I think we're doing a
Thanks.
Jason
I didn't
model.
mean to intrude. I just wanted to make sure that we had that squared away because there was a few questions.
No, that was great, Jason. That's why we make such a good team.
And I think we're doing a Jason model this quarter. I think.
Oh.
I think the Rhino, maybe
It's the Avatar of Resilience.
Of Resilience, yeah, the one with the tree stump and the rock, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, I liked the how you doing, giraffe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wisdom, I think.
Yeah. How you doing? That's what I
Oh,
remember.
before
that one too.
Since we're
got a lot of crap.
Since we're coming up to the end here. Justin, do you want to show the June promo since we're coming up to the end here?
Ooh, another show exclusive, the June promo.
Oh,
that is
no,
not
that's
it.
That's not it.
Why did you say? Why did you have that picture? Was that just you just had it?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with some new programs for rendering, and that was one of the tests that I did.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's a Rhonda
so this is
Bender,
Lars.
Bob Rodolphe team up right there. Yeah, super
That's a
cool.
great figure.
Good job, Rhonda. Good job, Rhonda. That's awesome.
I love the armor. Yeah.
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 Very stony, very weathered. Lars
Ragnar's
son.
a little bit of a departure for Mr. Rodolphe.
For Mr. Rodolphe.
Not his usual subject matter, but I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
awesome. It's great. It was nice to make in Bones USA too.
Yeah. I imagine it looks good.
Yeah.
So that was how many pieces was that? Two.
Oh,
so both arms and the weapon were one piece.
Yeah. So if you see, look at his little cuffs, his little arm link cuffs there. He basically has ball sockets that basically fit right into those gauntlets.
Ah, is that where Bob cut it or you cut it?
I don't know actually. The Kevin handles the master, so Kevin either cut it or they came that way. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
A lot of times we anticipate where the cuts are going to be and have them set up like that to start with, and then Kevin can adjust them as they come in.
Yeah, Tiberia says looks kind of like Rictus the Undying, but alive with an axe. Yes, the armor is the armor. There's a lot of similarities in the armor. Yeah.
Also, look at the linen, the cloth.
Oh,
underneath.
Bob and
Green
Julie
User
are on.
Says that is where they cut it. That is where Bob cut it.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Rictus, they're not dead yet.
Yeah, this stuff it did really good. All the most recent pieces that I've gotten to make into Bones USA have molded really well. The last month's promo, this promo, next month's promo as well is already done. So it's
how many molds?
It's a ranger.
Well, we get more feedback every time that we talk to you guys. We get more feedback on how to design them better too, so that helps.
Yeah,
It's
I think
just a
Rhonda's
constant
working on the
evolution. I
Ranger.
don't know if people realize that, but it's constantly evolving our
Mm-hmm.
understanding of the process and how we can tailor our sculpts to better fit the process and vice versa.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think it's a little over the hour. I know Justin's got stuff going on. Maybe it's time we wrap up. We did, what we didn't do again, Jason, was the Poke Tool
Hashtag free.
giveaway.
We
Hashtag
didn't do the
free,
giveaway.
all right. There's some subs, so let's see.
Oh yeah, we got subs now.
All right. So
Thanks,
Justin, are you there?
I'm here.
How many
Cool.
subs do we have to give away a Poke Tool since
Let's
we
see
screwed
here.
it up?
As of that gift there, we have one to
5
give
or
away.
6.
Can we give away
Oh.
2 then?
We can give away 2.
Let's
it's
give
not
away
ready
2.
yet. Hold on.
All right. So everybody get in their hashtag free.
Oh, hold on. It's not live
Hold
yet.
on. If you're putting in hashtag
At
free,
one
you're way
point,
too
didn't you
early.
make
You're gonna
some
have
of
to
these
do it again.
Poke Tools?
Yeah, he did. Didn't he make the Poke Tool? Didn't
Are you talking to me?
our Poke Tool?
Yeah, I thought at
You're on
one
the
point
show.
you were involved in the manufacturing of the Poke Tools.
Poke
To my knowledge, Bryn. Bryn is the one who
Bryn.
handled this
Okay.
one. Yeah.
This one. All right.
I did use this Poke Tool this weekend at the paint and take to help some
Awesome.
people with some clogged paint.
Good. That's great. You didn't give any away though, because that of course
I only
is Michael's bailiwick.
I only had one.
Okay, great.
Yes.
It's
The
in the
only
little
way-
kit that
John, how do you get this Poke Tool? Do you know?
gifting subs to the Crow's Nest during the Crow's
And?
Nest show.
And
Well,
And
there's
you'll
another
have
way
to
that you
win it.
get. There's another way you get. You have to win it, but there's one other way you're able to get a Poke Tool besides winning on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it?
You can be a guest on the show, John.
Oh, really?
And now,
Sick.
now you are legally eligible to go get a Poke Tool out of the internet area.
Oh, that's easy for me. You don't have to ship it or anything.
No, I don't. So that's why we like to have Reaper guests on, so we don't have to mess with the rest.
Nice.
All right, Justin,
I'll
are
put
you
it on my
ready?
desk.
Yes.
I'm ready. Draw our
And if you want, Jason and I will sign it later on when we see you,
Oh.
and then you can.
Yeah, I
frame
won't.
it
I
on
won't
the
open it.
wall.
I'll just keep it in the package.
Don't open it. Yeah, totally.
All right.
All right,
We ready?
who's reading? Let's
Drum
have
roll,
John read
please.
since he's the guest.
That's true. John does love to read the names, so
Yeah, he
Oh,
does love reading
yeah.
the names.
Hmm.
he does.
He's better
Let's
at
do
it
it.
than I am.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
First winner.
Taint Black.
Tainted
And our-
Black.
Our second.
And if he paints,
He paints. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Ippy.
congratulations, you two.
Good job, everybody.
Ippy. No, it's
Mhm.
Ippy, not he, because that would be an E. It's H-I. Ippy.
I've talked to him in
I
person.
don't know.
On how to
Doesn't
say
if he paints make more sense?
Well, that would be IF. Ip. He.
Pie paints.
Ippy. I don't know. Hey, that's cool. I can't pronounce anything anyway. So congratulations on 2 Poke Tools. Hey, so I'm going to be out of pocket for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be on vacation, so I won't be around. So we're going to have to.
Jason's sculpting stream.
Jason's. Yeah, it could be Jason's
We'll
sculpting
see.
stream.
Well,
Yeah, it
I'm
could
still
be-
trying to debate what we're going to do or not do by then, but
Live from Weepy
something will
Tiki.
happen.
It's the Jason Weeby Show. with
And
And
Jason
remember,
Weeby.
if you're anywhere near Irving, Texas,
Mm.
why don't you drop into NTRPG Con this week? And,
Are you going to
maybe
be
even-
there?
Am I going to be there? No.
Oh, well, then I'm
we
not
got,
going.
We got knocked out of the schedule by COVID again. So
Oh, I thought I had COVID, but it was just a cold.
well, I didn't think I had it, but then my wife
Mhm.
caught it, so I think probably I did have it for a couple of
Probably.
days.
Well,
But in any
I'm
case,
glad-
we're having a little spike up here in the Northwest. There's a number of people
Mhm.
that have posted they couldn't come. And we just as soon not go and bring our Pacific Northwest COVID down to Texas.
Right. Hey, John, you going to be at the con this weekend?
I am not. I'm recovering from this past weekend, so and
Okay.
Ron didn't ask me to go, so.
Oh, well, I'm sure it was just an open invitation to go.
Nah, he's fine. He can
Bobby's
handle
going
it.
to be there. Jean's going to be there.
Mhm.
And Ron will be there. And Joseph Wolf will be there. And is that in Garland?
I
It's in
think it's in
Irving.
Garland. Oh,
It's in
Irving.
Irving.
Irving, that's the one.
Irving,
And
Garland. Yeah.
Joseph is the big draw. He'll be running DDRPG.
Yeah.
Bobby's attending. Gene is going to visit. And Ron, I think, is herding cats as usual. So
I think he's going to be
Yeah.
helping. He's going to be helping
yeah, Joseph.
Wolf. Mhm.
Yeah,
Cool.
if really that's the reason, if you're interested in Reaper stuff, Joseph is the point of the spear at NTRPG Con this time.
Point
It's at the
of
West Inn.
spear.
It's at the Westin
Ooh.
DFW Airport Hotel.
Yep.
The Westin. Westins are generally pretty nice. See if they let it happen there twice. So
Now we had talked about Michael streaming Crow's Nest while he's traveling, but he's actually using this as a getaway to the Oregon coast. So
yes,
Oh.
he doesn't want to
I
stream.
will. I will not be able to commit to streaming just because I don't know where we're going to be. We're going to be driving up and down the coast. We have various places to stay, but I'm
Well, I
really
sent you a
excited
whole
about it. It's going to
list.
be a lot of fun. Yeah, I
Sent you
know.
a whole
We're
list of stuff to
utilizing your
do.
list. Yep, we're utilizing your list. So I will take lots of pictures, and maybe we'll have a slideshow when I come back.
Yeah, if you
That'll
want
be
to, I mean, well,
exciting.
of course, you're a diver, but I would
Yeah.
say that Newport Aquarium should be high on your list.
Well, yeah, we're going to have Miko with us. And one of the big things for going on this trip is Miko in the ocean. So
Miko
there's
on
going to
the
be a lot of
beach.
photos. Miko on the
Yeah.
beach, Miko in the ocean, Miko in the mountains, Miko in the rainforest, Miko everywhere. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyways,
Hell yeah.
so who are we going to raid?
Justin, I see that CNOT's on.
Yep.
You can raid CNOT.
That's who I was gonna raid.
Ah,
Perfect.
well, I guess we can raid.
Michael
Sinat.
falling off his bike at Big Sur, they're saying. Someone's predicting that.
No, I might get to
I
ride
don't
my
think
bike
you're
in
going near
Bend
Big Sur.
on the way back. No, we're driving back through Bend. I really like mountain biking there.
Oh, boy.
So, John, thanks for joining us. It was always fun to hang out with you. We're raiding CNOT, and we're out of here. I don't want to ruin the raid. So, everybody wave. Bye. I can't. Oh, here we go. I haven't done this all
Bye, everybody.
episode. Hey, everybody.
Oh, that's
Bye.
Oh gosh, that's a little
God.
scary.
Man, we could have gone all
Yeah.
show without seeing
run
that.
the
Yeah.
outro for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a great
Yeah.
night.
That's
Later.
some horrific stuff
Bye.
right
I
there.
will see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Sorry, everybody.
Goodbye.